All right, Corey with Blood Brothers Racing here. We had some sad news this week. The Blood Brothers' grandma passed away, and we buried her this morning, and it was really sad. But neither one of us do real well with just sitting around. We just get sadder. So we decided to go to a test and tune and try to take our mind off of it. Plus, we need some tests before Martin, Michigan. And obviously, the solution to all my problems and sadness is drag track. And the reason for my problems and sadness most of the time is drag track. So, we're gonna give it a shot. We made a huge swing. We're out here waiting for the gate to open for the test and tune. I'm on the computer trying to figure out what we're doing, but we made a huge swing on the 4-link. We went to 100% anti-squat, pushed it out 60 inches, raised it up 9 inches, plus we changed the wishbone. So we got like no data on this, and we're hoping the track can take it. We're just gonna shoot for it and see how it goes. It's gonna be interesting. We brought wrenches. We could do a bunch of changing between rounds, but tomorrow we may do a bracket race if everything goes well tonight. We came here for test and tune, hoping to get 4 passes a piece.
Yeah.
We came out of the gate fast and hard.
Well, we got here, the gates opened at 6. First pass will start at 6:30. We still had to get everything out, unload everything, and got down there pretty fast, and the next thing you know, we're already on the track. So.
How'd your first pass go?
My first pass went pretty damn good. Right in line with what I've been running the rest of the year as far as my 8th mile time. So I did a 6:44, and I actually spun the tires a little bit at the very beginning. Not much, but I might have lost a 100th or something like that. So I thought it was pretty good. And first thing I said when I got back for the interview was like, Corey's not gonna be able to do this. Corey's not gonna be able to make traction on this track.
Yeah, I lit him straight up right out of the gate. We made a huge bar adjustment to 100% from the 72% I had before. I'm sure I'll put a graph or something to show you the difference where we got. Didn't seem to matter, but the track was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Ohio Valley has any problem, because they have a great track when they prep it, but for test and tune, they just kind of throw a little glue down and say, here you go, boys. Mm-hmm. Safe place to figure out your no prep race.
That's been the struggle with your truck is like, the last 2 tracks we've been at, St. Louis and here now, the track conditions were not the most optimal getting out there. And so is it the track, or is it your adjustment, or is it the fact you have a big tire?
All the above. But I'll say St. Louis was twice as good as far as glue than this track, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, that's why I said it's like if I spin my tires at all on the start line, then you're going to have a problem, because I don't ever spin my tires.
Yeah.
So if I did, then it was not biting at all. So okay. We kind of like lollygagged around for a little bit, ready to go for our second pass.
I had to cool down.
Yeah, and then we decided to let me go ahead and go on out there and do it. You'd made an adjustment. We'll come back to that. So I got out there on my second pass, and so going back to sportsmanry, yellow, 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 green. I got on the two-step pretty quick.
Well, on your second bulb, you were.
Yeah. So no, I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but next thing I know, I hear a pop.
Tell me what happened, buddy.
Well, let's see. I get to the line.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it. I hit the button, hit the gas, and pow! Right out the hood. So hopefully it's not too bad, but Corey's been through this before.
Many times.
Many times. So hopefully it's the same issue and that we're going to be okay to
Let's
proceed.
show you what's going on here. So the old blower gasket right here decided to do the old ejecto mundo down the bottom. All that's gasket material, so it blew down the bottom. He had a backfire. I'm not really sure if it was a intake backfire. Hopefully it wasn't, because that could mean a valve. Hopefully it was just a backfire in the blower, and we'll move on from this. Maybe you shouldn't be on the two-step for like 3 seconds.
I thought about that too, because sportsmanry, man, get you every time.
It gets you every time.
And I take off. The RPMs drop quite a bit. I take off, and I'm gotten in like a deer in headlights. It's like, well, what the hell do I do? So I just let out of it, coasted to the wall, and then finally just hit the ignition off and coasted the rest of the way. We tried to start it down there at the end. They came and got me.
It almost sounded like a rod knock.
It sounded pretty bad.
Yeah.
And we looked at it. We saw gasket material laying in the engine compartment and all that stuff. And when we started, high idle, just reminiscent of what you were doing before.
34 times, I think.
Yeah, 34, 35 times now.
Yeah.
But so that was kind of our indication, is that we blew a blower gasket. So we'll tell you what transpired when we pulled the motor apart.
So what do you say there, Christopher?
So, we've had this problem before in the truck with this when this blower was on there. Obviously, blower gasket has disintegrated.
It has left the chat. Hey, it put its 2-week notice in 2 weeks ago. You didn't know about it.
You see all the saturation?
That's a big chief joke. I don't want to steal it from him.
You see all the saturation here? It was probably here, but all this was gone.
So we had a fuel leak on this front bowl, and we're thinking maybe it was just dripping down and just saturating this, and it finally just saturated enough to where it got brittle, and then under boost it just pushed out.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird, because when it released down these little window holes that I made. You see that hole right there? And so we had gasket material against the valve cover, which is interesting. Never seen that before. But that's what happened on the last pass. We got gaskets in the trailer. We're gonna put this on here, and then Chris is gonna make a flashlight start hit. Just kidding, Ohio Valley, we're not doing that.
So my second pass, I decided to go from the 100% to 120% anti-squat. I had to bring the length a little bit closer to the rear tire, which isn't optimal. You kind of want it closer to the center of gravity, but my frame brackets, and I'll show you the diagram, my frame brackets need to be raised by 2 inches in order to get the spread correct across the instant center. At least that is of my opinion. So we're probably gonna do that this winter, but we went and did the 120%. There was an oil down.
Oh, the oil down was like an hour and a half.
Easy.
Yeah.
So we didn't get up there till a little after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Test and tune closes at 10. So we got one shot at it, and we talked and was like, well, do we put more power in, take more power out? We just want to try to get a pass, they'll take it. I decided we were just gonna just leave it as is, and at least it would give us an AB from the 100%.
Yeah.
And the truck took it, track took it, I don't know, one of them took it.
Take it.
Yeah. It shook the tires to about 60 foot, and it hauled down. A reasonably fast pass, 573, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Which is about in line with like a 96, 95 pass, and that's 8, 95, 96 in a quarter. So we're getting real close to that 9.0, and that is the slowest tune-up I can make the truck do. I can't make it go any slower.
Yeah.
Without, I mean, I could pull more timing, but the problem is I don't know how much further I can pull it and still be in line with the distributor.
Yeah.
You know, it's really
There's
rough.
got to be a zone of where you need to stick in
Yeah.
order to be your engine to still be efficient.
So if you imagine, like, this is the area that is going to a spark plug, and this is your rotor cap. If you set it to the leading edge, which is right here, and it's good. If you take 20 degrees out and it's over here, now it's jumping a gap.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far I can go, hopefully that's in camera, before that gap can't be jumped, and now I'm hitting the next cylinder before it. So I'm really thinking probably 20 degrees is about as max I could go. I'm pulling 15. So, but somebody gave in the comments, and I will make sure I put his name because I've been drinking and I have forgotten. Said,
Mountain Dew, that's what you've been drinking.
I've been drinking a lot of Mountain Dew. It said maybe put more power in for a little bit longer before you take it out. We hadn't tried that yet. That was something we thought about maybe doing. But it took what we had. So what is your thoughts on tomorrow? Because there's a bracket race tomorrow, which is a sportsmanship. So,
Well, we came here thinking we were going to do it if you got traction and I was able to get a good light, which I've not. My first reaction was a 0.08, which is not great. It might be okay here, but I need to do better.
Rating again, you know where
Yeah, so I think we'll kind of like feel tomorrow out in the morning and the afternoon, and we're here, we're unloaded, we're ready to run, and like you said earlier off camera, it's like, you know, we'll pay the fee, and if we just get, you know, 2 or 3 more passes, then they're like test passes.
Yeah.
So we got to worry about Martin, Michigan next week, and you know, we need to make sure we're prepped and ready for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're already here. We paid the fuel to get here.
And mind you, it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning. There's one other camper here, but we pretty much have the truck to ourselves again.
I told him we could do a flashlight start.
Well, if he pulls a dragster out, let's go run.
We'll just run him.
Yeah.
I think he's probably a low 5s dragster, maybe even a high 4s.
You can give me a few car links.
Worst case, we pay, I think it's like $30 or something. And we get a minimum of 2 passes because we get a test and tune or qualifier and then go into elimination. So, and then if we really wanted to get spicy, buy back, that's 3 passes.
You know, if I go out there and I red light, I'll probably do a buyback just to not red light the next time.
Maybe.
Yeah, if it's some stupid mistake on my part.
Good question though, Chris, is one thing I told you to do was lower your launch RPM. And what'd you do?
I lowered it.
By
0. So, okay, so
you can lead a horse to water.
now the first time, my excuse for the first run was we were so rushed to get up there that I didn't even, and you said something, I think, before I even pulled out, and I never reached over and grabbed it. The second time I should have, but I didn't. And so the thing is that you have to realize is that I am 50 years old, and I can make these excuses. But no, I should have done that. But now I question my reaction time. You know, it's almost like didn't really have enough passes to try to play with the tree. And if I drop it down to 2800, is it going to slow me down even more?
Your ET is going to change by a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but it's going to change.
Well, it's going to
something.
slow my reactions. What I'm saying.
Yeah, but your ET will slow by a little bit. I know there's people in the camp of that doesn't matter, but I feel like it's at least going to throw it off a few thousandths, if maybe not 100th.
But reaction, huh? That's what.
Oh yeah, but you need to get down into at least the 20s, 30s, 40s.
So I use that two-step to my advantage to have a better reaction time by bumping it up to 5,000.
Right. On a Pro Tree.
On a Pro Tree. So now I'm like, Sportsman Tree is totally different.
Have you had a tetanus shot by chance? Because I'm tasting.
Oh yeah, I'm caught up on my tetanus.
Okay,
I think.
we're good.
Yeah. Or was
Hey,
it-
anybody that has a Blackstone grill, just let us know how you keep it from rusting.
Rush Burgers.
Rust burgers. All right, go ahead, Chris. 5,000. Pro Tree.
No, I was just saying. You know, that's some part of inexperience on my part, and you know, it's like I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, of course, I want to launch hard, but I also got to be able to launch at the same exact time every time. And I was trying to wait a little.
You can't do it.
but you can't do it that way.
You
Exactly.
have-
I know.
As soon as you see anything from that
Yes.
light, you have to let go.
And so that was my problem last year. Was I was doing exactly that, and I was red lighting every time.
yeah.
So if I do that this time, then you're absolutely right. I need to lower the two-step to come off the line.
So my
Slower.
assumption, your car probably needs to be a 2800 to 3200 on a Sportsman Tree. If you're getting a good light at 5,000 on a Pro Tree, I think you're going to have to take a 2,000 RPM out, roughly, to
And
get.
I might take some pressure out of my front tires too. Maybe help a little bit.
That's a good. But do we do both?
Oh. Yeah, we only got 2 qualifiers.
All right. Comment quickly.
Yeah. Before this is even posted,
Comment quickly.
what should we do?
I don't know, man. We've struggled all year. Well, I don't want to say struggle because we've had good times. We've learned a lot. And the thing about struggling is that's how you learn, right?
We have struggled all year, but your struggle was because you're trying to go faster.
Double horsepower.
Double horsepower, and you're trying to go faster than 10.0, which is what you ran last year.
Yeah.
So now, I will say your experience at running 10.0 has gotten this car really close to 10.0.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, it was, you know, at St. Louis, number 4 qualifier, actually tied for 3rd, but 4 qualifier at a 10.01.
You were 3rd. Sam was 4th.
Yeah, Sam.
If you're
you were
watching this, Sam. I don't care what the qualifier sheet said.
But we got it where it needed to be.
Yeah.
Finally, we got it where it needed to be. And that struggle was off from last year because the car just didn't have the power.
Well, that was so inconsistent too.
Inconsistent, and now it's running fairly consistent. Probably not as consistent as it needs to be, but it's pretty close. And we got it at 10, and that's where we need to run it. That's where we're going to run it the rest of the year. Probably run it again next year at 10, and then just learn that process. So
I'm going to run 9, although I did tell Chris as soon as I had that 573 pass, I was like, how much power do you think that track can take?
because it's like you. It's like take. You know,
It's hard. It's hard not to push limits.
yes.
And when you're only thinking about beating yourself, it's easy to say, all right, let's just beat ourselves. But if you want to win and be successful at this and actually have people that admire you for doing something and not just being a bunch of losers, the failure brothers, you've got to eventually say, all right, this is where I'm going to be at. Let's get that number correct. And it's a struggle.
Yeah, and these guys that we race in our league, but the guys will race here locally too. I mean, they've been racing for a long time. A lot of them have, and they've.
Your second year out.
It's my second year out, and well, I mean, even at St. Louis, a guy. I mean, I don't know how much experience he had racing, but it was his first year in that car, and he won the whole Pro Gas in India.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Big sexy, but that car.
that car was. It was a winner to begin
It
with.
was a winner to begin with. So
Yeah.
he had a good car to start with. Plus, similar situation where the guy helping him tune it knew the car.
Yes.
So it definitely helped his chances.
Yeah, but that was exciting for them, and we're going to get there. We've been kind of beating around the bush and trying to get it to where it needs, both truck, car, to where they need to be, and we're just need to stick to a number, stick with it, get to it, and compete in that number.
I agree. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Now, will we do that?
It's like, I think I can go 8s now.
And Chris gets a big bonus check, and now we're doing a chassis.
Whoa, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It's just, everybody that drag races understands. It's one of those things. You either got to be competitive or you got to be fast.
Yeah.
At least in indexing. If you're running heads up, you do both. We can't afford running heads up. But we did talk to some awesome people, Derek and Erica. And
Derica.
I said Erica, right?
Derica.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they were talking some no prep to us, and you know, from the numbers he was saying, maybe it's something we may be able to get into if we can get traction. I don't know. But to be honest with you, that thing is getting so wild and fast. I don't even know. I think we come into the game too late for that.
I personally, I mean, I don't want to. Those guys that do that kind of stuff, I mean, they have big balls.
Oh yeah.
And I personally don't want to lose my investment because
gotta be willing to lose it. Risk it for the biscuit.
We are not millionaires. We don't have the.
No.
So I mean, we are budget racers right now, and that's kind of the way.
Yeah, but what's a new fender?
If it's a fender, that's one thing. But if you wreck the
Roll
chassis, then
thing.
you're kind of all,
So plan going forward tomorrow, we're gonna decide, wake up, see how we feel,
Yeah.
run the bracket. I think we're gonna pay it.
We'll probably run it. I mean, and just
Might as well.
and like I said, we're here, and now, I mean, after all the work we just put in, changing the blower gasket on this thing, which was not hard at all because we've done it numerous times. But
I think 64 times.
64 times, yeah. So now that it's running, and we also did a little bit of work on the carburetor, so we'll see what it does.
I think this is my horse because it gets down no matter what track.
Yeah.
You could go down gravel road, it'll be all right.
Have you ever noticed? We tow you a lot, so you probably noticed it. So I always drive back. When you were towing me back, it was so loud. Like I felt like it was going to
Everything.
sound like it was going to fall apart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like you heard rocks and thumps and everything
Yeah.
in there. It's like
Shit falling and
yeah.
what the hell?
It's like this is loud.
Yeah, well, what always scares me is whenever I have like a seatbelt that's on the edge and it falls and hits the steel.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I just lost a wheel. It always scares me every time. But yeah, that took a while to get used to actually. All right, well, so that'll be kind of our plan. I guess we're gonna talk to you guys tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
let you know how we decide what we're gonna do. But I think for the most part,
Yeah.
we're gonna pay our money and at least run another couple testing tunes.
Yeah. Right on.
So the next day we paid our tuition and ran that bracket race, or test and tune, whichever you want to call it. Chris was right in front of me in the staging lanes, but right after his burnout, he signaled to the track staff that he was out, blew another blower gasket. I backed out, let him clear the track. I staged up, only changing my launch RPM to 2,000, in an attempt to have a decent light on Sportsman tree. So obviously that didn't work. Spun the tires, then wouldn't shift, then shook the tires. But we looked at the track and decided it wasn't the truck's fault. The track just wasn't ready for me yet. After some cars went down, we went back up to take another swing at it for Q2. There we go, boys. We got a race car. Just a little too fast on the light. We lowered the two-step down again to 1800 on the last pass, still too fast. We're gonna lower it again down to 1600. And then I dialed a 574 because the previous run was a 575 and I thought it was gonna pick up just a little bit. Eliminations, here we come. Hey Chris,
Yeah.
so tell me what we're doing here.
Oh my gosh. Well, and we just got back from the track, and we blew the second blower gasket after we put a fresh one on, so we don't know exactly what the cause is. So first things first, we're going to check the block as far as compression and do a leak down test, see if we've heard any internals, and then we'll kind of go from there. We have now 4 days before we got to leave, 4 or 5 days before we got to leave for Michigan, so we've
Gotta get something done, huh?
little time.
And we only got one blower gasket left.
One gasket.
It reminds me of that movie, John Belushi. It's like we got 1 pack of cigarettes, a half tank of gas. So we're gonna try to do this leak down tonight. So if we have to do some extensive work, we will have a little bit of time. My last pass, well, we did a few of them today. I'm sure I need to do an overview of it, but the last pass, we dialed a 74. The truck took it, whichever, and ended up running a 69. But I was 030 red, which my truck's really tough to run on a Sportsman tree. So, yeah, it is what it is. Man, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Took a little while, mainly us BSing a little bit, and then a little bit of runs in between. Maybe it gives you some ideas of what we're trying to do or accomplish. I don't know. But I found it interesting just hearing us talk, particularly when I'd been drinking. I kind of forgot some of the stuff I said. So a lot of the YouTube stuff is basically me just trying to remember what happened. So if you guys enjoyed that, make sure you put it down in the comments. Make sure you like and you subscribe, because it helps us out. So our next video is gonna be Martin, Michigan, which we already got back from. And I think we might have got that truck suspension figured out, maybe. So make sure you subscribe for the next video next week. We'll see you later.